If you pay attention walking around Budapest or elsewhere in Hungary, you may notice some interesting sculptures of this artifact tucked away. It looks like a bowl, almost like a bathtub, with an ornate head of a bull facing the inside and three legs. You might bump into a large stone version of it at the beautiful and historic Fiume Street Cemetery. You might encounter it housing some pigeons elevated on a pillar outside of Budaöstér metro station. You might encounter a book of photography and essays about it at a pop-up secondhand book vendor. You can even grab a miniature version of it as a souvenir. And if you learn what it actually is, you may wind up with more questions than answers. In 1799, a Serbian peasant on the Romanian side of what's now the Hungarian, Serbian, and Romanian border stumbled across a cache of 23 gold artifacts, about 1,000 years old, and unlike anything anyone had really seen before. This treasure of Nagy St. Miklos featured the aforementioned bull-headed vessel, as well as other artifacts featuring ferocious griffins devouring human beings, a victorious prince dragging a captive by his hair, and other scenes. Archaeologists agree that aspects of the artwork featured that of the Sassanid Persians, but it also featured Greek letters. But what was written on them wasn't Greek. The language is still a subject of heated debate, but it's most likely some form of a Turkic language. Things only get murkier from here, but the newest evidence most likely indicates that this came from the Avar Khaganate. So there's this great big steppe that runs all the way through the Eurasian supercontinent, and if you keep heading west, you'll find this little enclave of the steppe surrounded conveniently by mountains called the Pannonian Basin, and that's where Hungary is today. The ancient history of this basin was basically a sequence of nomads from Central Asia traveling westward, conquering the previous inhabitants, settling down, and then getting conquered by the next nomads who came. Hungarians, interestingly, were the last group to do this permanently, but the group that was here just before were the Avars. These artifacts were from before the Hungarian entry into Europe, but because they're from a similar people, from a similar place with a similar lifestyle, they instantly became a symbol of the Hungarian identity and of Hungarian nationalism. And many call this bathtub with the bull on it the Cup of Attila, who also wasn't actually Hungarian and predated the artifacts by about 400 years, but was another conquering steppe nomad, so sort of the same cultural continuity. And there's a ton more controversy and claims than that, but no matter what anyone says, it really is a fascinating archaeological find. So remember that the next time you see this unique train station birdhouse.